Alright guys, so today we're going to work on multiplying whole numbers. Alright, so this should just be a review because this is something that you learned in 5th grade. But we've got to make sure that you know how to do the standard traditional algorithm. So let's look at a problem. Alright, so for our traditional algorithm, we're going to take this bottom number and multiply it times the top. So 5 times 6 we know is 30. We want to make sure to carry the 3 over to the tens place. And then 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 is 23. And then 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. Alright, so make sure you've written that in your notes, and obviously you can pause this video if you need to. So we have 1,230. But let's see what happens when we have 2 digits on the bottom. Alright, so for this problem, I've got 2 digits on the bottom, and what I always do is something I like to call the dinosaur method, where I'm actually going to draw something to separate this digit from this one. Okay, some people like to call it a turtle head or maybe a golf club, but we're using this bottom number first, and we're going to look at this one later. So we're going to follow those same steps. Multiply the bottom times the top, then the bottom times the top, which gives me 12. Don't forget to carry your numbers. And then bottom times the top. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 is 22. Now the different thing here is we've only used this number, and now we've got to use this one. So when I'm done with this number, I'm actually going to exit out and anything that I carried, because I don't want to get confused in a minute. And then I need to bring a placeholder straight down because I've already multiplied by the ones place. Now I'm going to multiply by the tens place, and you know that a 10 is going to need the extra 0 on the end, so that's why that 0 goes there. And then we're going to follow the same steps. Multiply the bottom times the top. 2 times 3 is 6. Bottom times the top. And bottom times the top. 7 times 2 is 14. Now I'm going to add those together, and this is why it was so important for us to practice stacking our addition. Okay, so then I can just add these numbers. Alright, and you can see that I have kept everything spaced out very well. I want to keep everything in line so when I get to this adding part, I don't make any mistakes, especially when I have to carry. Okay? Now, if you know how to do this, multiplying with decimals is going to be super easy. So now we're going to multiply with decimals. Alright, so I'm the crazy math teacher that loves multiplying with decimals. Okay, so we're going to start with a problem like this one. Alright, 2 and 31/100ths times 2 and 1/10. And I'm going to draw my dinosaur head, but I'm going to be very, very careful not to write over the decimal because I don't want to lose those. And then I'm going to follow the same steps, ignoring the decimal. And notice, I did not line up my decimals. You don't line up decimals when you multiply them. You just ignore them till the end. Okay, so we multiply the bottom times the top, bottom times the top, bottom times the top. Now I'm done with this one. I'm going to exit out. Don't forget your placeholder every time. And then start over. Bottom times the top, bottom times the top, bottom times the top. And just like normal, we're going to add. Okay, and I have added this number up. So now I've got to figure out what am I going to do with those decimals. And you want to look at how many decimal places there are in the problem. So I'm going to look at these numbers after the decimal in my problem. I have 1, 2, 3 digits after the decimal. So in my answer, I want to have 1, 2, 3 digits. So my answer is 4 and 851 thousandths. So in your notes section, you have this paper, notes 2. Okay, and again, here's our rules, and here is an example. We're going to not line up our decimal, and we're going to ignore the decimals and multiply like normal. Add these together, and then we count our decimal places. 1, 2, 3. 1